right, so welcome everyone. Hello, my name is Jason Gorenstein, and this is our um, live streaming integrative wellness class. So nice to have you all here. So nice to be here. So today is Tuesday, June the 3rd, and class is 3 p.m. to 3:55 p.m. So I hope that you are having a wonderful day today as I continue to broadcast this class live. And I hope that you guys are doing well. So, without further ado, let us begin. Let's move right into our practice. So, I will share that sometimes classes are recorded. This class is actually being recorded to be broadcast. So, um, just to have the awareness. But you guys can join in, and I will premiere the class at 3 o'clock. So, without further ado, let us begin. And you're going to find your way onto your mat in a seated position. So, finding your way over to your mat in a seated position. And if you have an essential oil, you may want to use an essential oil today for today's practice. It's up to you. I have lemon. If you have lavender, you may want to use lavender, maybe a peppermint, and you'll just place that on a tissue. And the reason why I use tissue with the essential oil is because the tissue tends to absorb the oil, and it tends to allow the smell to just remain confined. So when we don't use a tissue, sometimes the essential oil, it diffuses all over the room, and it could be too strong of a smell for certain individuals. So when you use a tissue, it absorbs the oil. You can obviously bring your nose to the tissue and breathe in, and you could smell the oil. But if you bring even the oil about, I don't know, 2 feet away from the body, or maybe 3 feet away from the body, you can't really smell the oil. So it's just an awareness that to keep the oil combined. Other reason why I like to use a tissue instead of placing it on the skin is because sometimes the skin is very sensitive to these essential oils. So when you place the oil on the skin, it can cause some type of irritation, or maybe it could cause you to feel discomfort. Some of the oils, if you go in the sun with these oils, the oils may be very strong. So this is just an awareness that when we use our essential oils here, you want to use the oil in such a way that that the oil is confined. Maybe if you're in a home environment, or you're in a place where people are don't mind the smell of the essential oil, then yes, of course you could diffuse it. There's diffusers, really nice. You put water in it, and it diffuses the smell across the environment. But in most environments, tissue is very suitable, and in fact, using a tissue is a great way to incorporate the uses of these essential oils. So breathing in and breathing out, and breathing in and breathing out, and breathing in and breathing out. Good. And then from here, you'll take your hands and you'll place your hands on top of the thighs and just begin to move the torso around in circles here, in a circular motion. Just moving that torso around. Good, and eventually moving the torso in the opposite direction. Moving the torso around here as you continue to breathe. If you have that essential oil, you may want to hold that to the nostrils as you move in these circles. And it's really nice. I mean, the essential oils is a really nice way to kind of receive the benefits of the plant without ingesting the plant. You're obviously, your nasal pathway, olfactory center, is very strong, so your sense of smell often incorporates a change of experience and an integration, if you will. So begin to lift the chest on forward and exhale, rounding the spine here. Inhale, peeling the chest on forward. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, peeling the chest on forward. Exhale, rounding the spine. Good, and then coming back to center again. We're going to find our way onto our hands and our knees here. So as we usually do, we take ourselves onto our hands and our knees, and we spread the fingers wide apart, gently begin to rock the hips from right to left here. So this is our wellness class. And our wellness class is very different than our other classes. The movements are a lot more slow. The breath work is a lot more natural. So as you take yourself, excuse me, as you take yourself from side to side, just begin to breathe here. All right. And then turn your palms out away from one another and continue to move just side to side here. So it's a great exercise, especially for those of us that may have wrist or joint issues. Just moving the hips from side to side, moving the weight of the body from side to side just begins to incorporate a sense of balance here as you rotate from right to left. Excellent. And eventually you can rotate your fingers so that your fingers are facing now the front of the room and gently rocking here from side to side again. Excellent. As you roll from side to side here, just continuing to breathe into those shoulders. Breathe into the neck. And breathe into the chest. Keep moving those hips from side to side here. And then begin to round the spine here, which means that you're looking down towards the floor. And as you inhale, peel the chest on up. So you could keep the fingers as they are. You could spin the fingers forward. Good. And release the head. So just continuing to move from side to side here. As you move up, lifting the chest. And as you move down, releasing the spine. Very good. As you inhale up, lifting the chest. And as you resend down, floating the spine here. As you peel up, floating the chest. And as you peel on down, releasing the spine here. Good. And eventually you're going to sit on down towards those heels. Release the head on down here. Walk the hands back, walk the hands back, walk the hands back. And just release the head all the way down towards the mat. A really nice stretch of the spine. So thank you, Wilson, for your words. Very grateful. I hope that you're having a nice day. Please feel free to join me in this session if you'd like. This is a very gentle yoga class. And then from here, spinning the fingers forward, lengthening through the torso, heart and sternum. Exhale again, rounding the spine. This time, tucking the toes underneath, pressing down through the balls of the feet, pressing down through the fingers. Find your way into downward facing dog pose. Allow the hips to lift up towards the ceiling. Allow the head to release on down towards the mat. And as you continue to breathe here, just let the head be relaxed. Let the eyes be soft. Breathe into the sides of the waist. Good. And eventually here, we're going to walk those hands back towards the feet. Walking those hands back, walking those hands back, walking those hands back. And finding our way into a forward fold. So as you fold forward here, feel the four corners of the feet pressing down firmly. Feel the lifting up through those shin bones. Feel the lifting up through the thigh bones as you release the chest all the way down towards the thighs. Good, now take the thumbs and begin to lace the thumbs inside respective elbows here. And just begin to glide the elbows over towards your left side. Back to center, and then gliding your elbows over towards your right side. Back to center, gliding over to the left. Back to center, and gliding over to the right. And back to center. So take the hands here, place the hands on the low back. Inhale, peel up the chest, heart, and sternum, and find your way to standing. Spin the palms to face the front of the room. Inhale. Float the arms up towards the ceiling, lengthen through the fingers, lengthen through the side ribs. As you exhale, hinging over the hips and folding all the way down over your feet. Inhale, peeling up the chest here, taking the hands to the shins, lengthening the chest forward. As you exhale, hinging at the hips and folding all the way down. Inhale, spinning up the chest, lifting through the fingers, extending all the way up through the palms. As you exhale, bringing the hands back down into the sides of the body, palms face the front of the room. Good. Take the hands to the hips here. Step the feet wide apart. Allow the feet to be about hips width distance apart, and then just begin to forward fold here over those legs. As you forward fold over the legs, take the hands right underneath the chest and just release the weight on down and towards the fingers. So let the feet make contact with the floor. Let the palms make contact with the floor. And begin to feel the inner legs lifting up towards the inner knees. Begin to feel the outer thighs lifting up towards the outer sides of the waist. And as you continue to breathe here, float the chest on forward so that the side ribs begin to lengthen towards the fingers. As you exhale, fold again. Take the hands to the low back here. Press through the balls of the feet. Inhale, peel the chest on up. Heel toe the feet back towards one another. And find your way into a standing position. As you come into a standing position, take the hands to the center chest. Float the palms forward in front of you. Inhale, float the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Continue to press through both the balls and the feet as you lengthen the side ribs all the way up towards the fingers here. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way down towards the floor. Good. Inhale, peeling up the chest here. As you exhale, folding all the way forward. Inhale, spinning the arms up towards the ceiling, lengthening through the fingers. As you exhale, bringing the hands back down towards your sides. Take the hands to the hips again. Step the feet wide apart. See that the feet are hips width distance apart and spin both feet over the right side of the room. Perfect. As you spin the feet over the right side of the room, you're going to see that your right heel and your right hip line up. Your left heel and your left hip line up. And then from here, just bend into that right knee. Right knee bends, left hip comes forward, right hip comes back. Good. Now straighten through that leg. Lift the chest, lift the heart, lift the sternum, and come back to center. We're going to do the same thing to the other leg. So just bend into that left knee, bend into that left knee, bend into that left knee. Straighten through that left leg, and come back to center here. Excellent. Glide those hands down the legs again. Glide those hands down the legs again. Glide those hands down the legs again. Place the hands back on the floor. Walk those hands back underneath the chest. Inhale, peel the chest on up and come up onto the fingertips. Lift through the center chest here. Walk the left fingers towards center. Take the right hand to the right hip. Draw the right hip towards the left side of the body. Begin to spin the right side of the chest up towards the ceiling here. As you exhale, lower the right palm down. Bring the right palm to center. Bring the left hand to the left hip. Spin the left side of the chest up towards the ceiling here. Exhale, lower that hand down. Release the head on down. Good. Inhale, peel up the chest here. Peel up the heart, peel up the sternum. Left hand comes to center. Right hand extends all the way up towards the ceiling. Hug the right outer hip in. Lengthen through both sides of the chest. As you exhale here, lower that right hand on down. Take the right hand to center. Inhale, float the left arm up. Lift up, lift up, lift up. Exhale, placing that hand on back down. Lift both sides of the chest here. Bring the hands to the hips and lift the chest all the way up. Good. Heel toe the feet back together and come back to standing here, Tadasana pose. So very rarely do we actually stand in Tadasana pose. We usually use this pose as a intermediate pose to change between poses, but we very rarely ever just stay in the pose. So for a moment, just begin to feel into the bottoms of the feet, really the four corners of the feet, and they're pressing down. And as you feel the four corners of the feet pressing down, begin to feel the inner legs lifting up. The outer thighs release down, and the buttocks flesh lengthens down towards the backs of the heels. Now as you move to the torso, the belly engages, so the belly draws in. The sternum lifts up towards the crown of the head, and the shoulders release down towards the sides of the elbows. You can also feel the shoulder blades releasing down in the back, all the way to the hip bones. Inhale, float the arms up here. As you exhale again, hinge forward and forward fold. Release the torso all the way down. Inhale, lengthening halfway up. Exhale, hinging and folding. Inhale, floating the arms up towards the ceiling, palms face one another. Exhale, taking the hands to the sides. Once again, bring the hands to the hips and step the feet wide apart. Spin both feet over the right. Begin to hinge forward into that right hip. So the right buttocks draws back, the left buttocks draws forward. Take your right hand down the right leg, any amount. And then as you turn the left hip down, turn the left side of the chest up. That's it. Inhale here, float the chest on up. Now bend into that right knee again. So the right knee bends to 90 degrees. Lift both sides of the chest, lift the heart, lift the sternum. Left hip turns in, but the left side of the chest still faces the center of the room. Straighten that leg again and hinge at that hip. We're going to do this a couple of times. So lift the chest, bend into that right knee. Very nice. Straighten the right leg, hinge at the right hip. Good. Lift the chest, bend the right knee. Very nice. Straighten that leg, hinge at that hip. One more time, release the right hand down the leg. This time, inhale, float the left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. So see that the right outer arm is hugging in along the back body. Feel both shoulder blades spreading across to the fingers here. Continue to release the left hip down as you lengthen the left chest up towards the ceiling. Float the left arm up. Bring the hands to the hips and bend into that right knee. Spin the right foot in. Spin the left leg out. So from here, once again, we start by hinging at that hip and gliding the left hand down the leg. So here, as you begin, you'll notice the right hip turns down. That's important. And the left buttocks draws in. Also important. You're going to keep that right hip turning down, but you're going to turn the chest up towards the ceiling here. Good. Keep that action happening. Lift the chest up and bend into that left knee. As you bend into the left knee, feel the left hip lifting off of the left thigh. Then straighten through that left leg. Hinge into that hip. Very nice. Glide your hand down the leg. Good. Inhale, shifting back up. Bending into that left knee. And lifting both sides of the chest. Once again, hinging at the hip here. Lengthening. One more time, lifting through the chest and bending into that knee. So in the next time, as you straighten through the left leg, you'll hinge at that hip. Spin the right hip down. Spin the left side of the chest up. Glide the left hand down the leg. Inhale, float the right arm up. As you float the right arm up, spin both outer arms in towards one another and allow for the shoulder blades to float away from each other as you lengthen through the right fingers. Inhale, float the right arm up. Hands come back to the hips. Glide the feet towards one another here. Very nice. From here, spin both feet out. So see that the feet turn in equal and opposite directions. And then from here, bend those knees. So bend into the knees and place your hands on top of those thighs. If you want, you can lift the heels up off the mat. Continue to sink the buttocks down as you lengthen through the four corners of the torso. Good. Release those heels all the way down onto the mat. Stay here with the knees and begin to float the arms up towards the ceiling. Bend those elbows. So keep breathing here, sink back into those hips. That's it. Straighten through those legs, float the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bending through those knees and bending the elbows here. Take your left forearm, place it on your left thigh. Take your right hand, place it behind the head. Draw the right side of the chest up towards the ceiling. Keep sinking down into those knees. Keep lengthening through the chest. Come back to center here. Change sides. Left hand comes behind the head. Left hip continues to release down towards the floor. Breathing here. Once again, back to center. Straighten through those legs as you lift the arms up. Spin the feet in. Exhale, forward fold here. Release the hands all the way down to the floor. As you release the hands all the way down to the floor, release the head down. And walk the fingers over towards the right leg here. Release the head down. Feel the right outer hip drawing in. Feel the head releasing down towards the mat. And breathe here. So nice little stretch along the entire right side of the body. Come back to center, come back to center, come back to center. Take your hands over to the other side. And once again here, you take both hips forward, draw the left outer hip in, and breathe. Keep holding on to the outer edge of the left foot. Keep breathing here as you draw the left outer hip back. Come back to center. Inhale, peel up the chest and heart and sternum here. Bring the hands to the hips. lift the chest and come back up to standing. Good. All right. Bring the feet back towards one another and then spin the palms to face the front of the room. So once again, we're back into Tadasana's pose. We're back in this mountain pose. From here, bend into that left knee and spin onto the ball of your left foot so that the left heel is touching the right ankle. Take your hands into the center chest here. Interlace your fingers, press the palms forward in front of you, lengthen your fingers up towards the ceiling here. So this is called Patangoyasana in Vrikshasana. So fingers interlaced in our tree pose. So we keep lifting up and we keep allowing for those thigh or the buttocks flesh to lengthen down towards the heels. Keep lengthening up through those side ribs. Keep extending through the fingers. As you exhale here, hands come through the center chest and release the left heel down. Good. Bend into that right knee. Float the right heel all the way onto the left shin. So you just turn the foot about 45 degrees and the heel is making contact with the left shin. Interlace the fingers the opposite way. Press the palms forward in front of you. Lengthen your fingers up towards the ceiling. As you lengthen the fingers up towards the ceiling, hug the outer left buttocks in. Continue to float up through the both side ribs and pull the fingers wide apart. See that your side ribs are lengthening up. See that your hip bones are releasing down, and breathe here. Now you'll take your hands back to the center chest and you'll release that right foot on down. Once again, come back to Tadasana's pose. Come back to this mountain pose. From here, you're going to fold forward all the way down to the mat. And from this forward fold, take the hands, place them on the shins, lengthen the chest on forward. Good. Keep lengthening the chest on forward here. This time, see if you can float the arms out to the sides. Take the palms, turn them up towards the ceiling, bring the hands to the low back, and interlace the fingers here. So before you lift the fingers up towards the ceiling, can you draw the elbows in towards one another, lengthen the collarbones all the way out towards the elbows, and lift the fingers up towards the ceiling here. Fingers interlaced. Release the head on down, and breathe. Now, as you begin to bend the left knee, draw both sides of the chest all the way to the right leg. And as you straighten the leg, come back to center. As you bend the right knee, draw both sides of the chest over to the left leg. And then once again, hover and come back to center. Release the hands to the low back. Inhale, peel up the chest here. Bend into those knees. Float the arms up towards the ceiling. Keep bending those knees. Good. As you exhale, release the hands all the way down to the mat. Inhale, peel up the chest here. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up towards the ceiling, palms face one another. Exhale, bring the hands to the sides. Okay, so we haven't done tree pose in a while. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our left hand and place it on the wall. This is really if you know you have difficulty balancing in the center of the room. If you could do the pose in the center of the room, feel free to do the pose in the center of the room. You're going to start by bending into the right knee and spinning your right heel in towards the left shin. You're going to take your right foot and place it on top of your left shin. You could take your right hand, grab hold of your right ankle, and place your right foot on your left thigh if you'd like. Once you find your way here, you're going to begin to walk your left fingers up the wall and turn the left palm to face the front of the room. Now, naturally, the left buttocks, left hip is going to move towards the wall. So can you begin to press down evenly through the left foot as you lift up through the right arm? So there's this action happening where the left hip draws in, the right arm lifts up, and maybe the hands begin to float away from the wall. Lift both sides of the ribs all the way to the tops of the fingers here. See that the outer elbows continue to draw long. See that the shoulder blades continue to hug towards the sides of the ribs. Soften the frontal abdomen here as you breathe. As you exhale, take the left hand to the wall. Glide your right hand down the center chest. Walk your left fingers down the wall and release your right foot on down. Come back to Tadasana pose. So we take Tadasana once again to balance us. See that both sides of the feet are pressing down. See that both sides of the chest are lifting up. And then we take the opposite side of the pose. So now you take your right hand to the wall. Bend into that left knee. Spin the left heel in. And begin to bring that left foot into a bent position. Take your left foot, either place it on your left shin, your left thigh, your left calf. So any of these options is fine. You can walk your right fingers up the wall, and turn your right palm into the center of the room. Continue to draw the right buttocks towards the left thigh, and inhale, float the left arm up towards the ceiling. So now, see if you go lift higher through the left arm than through the right. Maybe your right fingers come off the wall. From here, allow both side ribs to lengthen to the tops of the fingers. Soften those frontal ribs. Lengthen through the back ribs. Good. As you exhale, replace your right hand back to the wall. Bring your left hand down to center. Walk your right fingers down the wall. Take your left foot, place it off of your right thigh. And one more time, find ourselves back in our Tadasana pose. Good. From Tadasana pose, inhale, float those arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold here. Good. Inhale, lengthen the chest. Now as you exhale, what I'm going to have you do is place your palms down on the mat, walk your feet a little bit wider apart, and take your knees wide apart. This is called Malasana pose. So you're going to walk your feet a little bit wider apart. If you have a block, please consider sitting on a block here. So you could just place a block underneath your pelvis on the middle setting and walk your feet just a little bit wider apart as you take your hands into the center chest. Good. So allow the outer legs to wrap in towards the inner. Allow the inner legs to wrap in towards the outer arms. I said it in reverse. And then from here, float the right arm up towards the ceiling. As you glide that right arm up towards the ceiling, look towards those fingers. Almost as if you're an archer and you could extend all the way through those fingers here. Lengthen through the chest, lengthen through the heart, lengthen through the sternum. Back to center, back to center, back to center, and the opposite side. So as you draw that right leg in, lift through those left fingers here, and breathe. Keep lengthening, keep lengthening, keep lengthening. Good. Take those hands back in towards the center chest. All right. From here, begin to place your hands down on the mat. Release your head on down. Lift the chest, lift the heart, lift the sternum here. And as you press down through the tops of the feet, you're going to begin to lift the buttocks up. Take the buttocks up towards the ceiling. Turn the feet in and release the head on down. Good. From here, take the hands to the hips, lift the chest, heart, sternum, find your way back onto standing here. Very nice. All right, standing. Take your arms out to the sides, float the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Interlace the fingers above the head. This time, you're going to interlace the fingers so that the pointer fingers are extending up towards the ceiling here. Lengthen out through those fingers. Spin the outer arms in. Firm the triceps. Engage those core muscles here. And begin to float your fingers over towards the right side of the room. This is a variation, a very classical pose called Ardha Chandrasana pose. It's a very classical formation of the pose. Inhale back to center. You don't typically see it in yoga classes taught that much these days. And then you move to the other side. So it's a very lengthening pose for the side ribs. Once again, back to center. This time, bend those knees, bend those knees, bend those knees. So Utkatasana with the fingers interlaced. Can you come up onto the balls of the feet? Keep bending those knees to parallel to the floor. Keep bending those knees, keep bending those knees. Press through the feet, lift the legs, and release the hands to the sides. We're going to do it one more time. Fingers interlaced above the head. Take the fingers, draw the fingers over to the left side of the room. Good. Keep pressing both hips back firmly into the midline of the body. Come back to center, come back to center, come back to center. Take the opposite side. So firm the outer left hip in. Breathe as you spin the chest to the ceiling. Breathe in here. Back to center again. Bend both knees, bend both knees, bend both knees. Lift those heels up off the mat. Lift those heels up off the mat. Lift those heels up off the mat. And then from here, straighten those legs and take the arms to the sides. Very nice. Good work, guys. All right, so from here, you're going to take your hips wide apart again. So bring your feet about 3 feet apart this time. Spin your feet over the right side of the room. Keep your hands on the hips. Lean on forward and allow the left side of the chest to come towards the right foot. Maybe drop the fingers down to the floor. If the fingers don't touch the floor, consider using blocks as you lengthen the chest on forward. This is called Parsvatonasana, or pyramid pose. Draw the right hip back. Draw the left hip forward. Maybe walk the fingers a little bit more forward. Lengthen the chest. The hands are directly under the shoulders here. Keep lengthening through the chest. So as you press through the right ball of the foot, the right buttocks draws in and back. As you press through the left heel of the foot, the left outer hip draws forward. Good. From here, bend into that right knee. So we're going to move the hands forward of the foot. We're going to lift up onto the ball of that left foot. And then from here, walk those hands forward. Maybe begin to float that left leg up. So now you're pressing into those hands. You're releasing that head down. And you're breathing here. This is called, L-shaped pose. Just breathe into that right leg. All right, from L-shaped pose, draw the left leg forward. Don't let it touch the ground. Take the left foot, draw it to the front of the right thigh, and begin to bend into your right knee as you draw the hands back. So this is like Garandasana pose. You're sitting on top of your right thigh right now. You're sitting on top of your right thigh. You have both hands on the blocks here. Very good, guys. Just take a forward fold here. Release the head down. Keep sinking those hips down. Then from here, once again, you're going to shift those hands forward. You're going to uncross those legs, lengthen the left leg back. Okay, now take the left leg behind the right leg, lower the left knee down to the mat, all right? Walk the hands back, and you're going to have a seat on top of your block. So if you have two blocks, you'll sit on top of that one block, all right? Then from here, see that both hips are on these blocks. So both buttocks are making contact with the blocks. You're going to take your left hand and bring it behind you as you spin your chest open face, Ardha Matsyendrasana pose. So open face Lord of the Fish pose. This is the half Lord of the Fish pose. Raise the right arm up towards the ceiling. If you'd like, you could bring the right hand inside of the leg as you spin the chest all the way over the left side of the room. Good. Come back to center again. You need to take your blocks forward in front of you. You need to shift the weight forward so you come up onto that left knee. Bring your blocks forward of your right foot. Step your left foot down. Press through the right ball of the foot. Lift the left leg up again. Walk the foot back. Walk the blocks back. And one more time, come into this forward fold. Release the head down. So you may be able to get a little deeper on this time. After all those stretches, we may be able to get a little bit deeper into that leg. All right, and then from here, you'll bend into the right knee. You'll walk the hands forward, and you'll step the left leg to the right leg. Inhale, lifting up halfway. So to start, you're going to lengthen that right leg back, step it on back, and walk the hands back as you move into Parsvatonasana pose. Parsvatonasana, press through the left ball of the foot. Begin to revolve that left outer hip back. Press to the right heel. Begin to draw the right hip forward. Lengthen both side ribs to the armpits here. All right. From here, bend into that left knee. Walk the blocks forward. Come onto the ball of your right foot. And you're going to begin to step your blocks even more forward as you float the right leg up. So this is what we call L-shaped pose. Now as you take L-shaped pose, continue to lengthen both sides of the chest. Draw the left outer hip back. Lift the right inner leg up. Feel the belly engaged here. So even in this stretch, you're feeling that belly engaged. Then from here, you begin to place a light bend in the left knee. Draw the right foot forward, draw the right foot forward, draw the right foot forward without touching the ground. Take the right leg and spin it around the top of the left thigh. Walk the hands back, walk the hands back, walk the hands back until eventually you may come into this Garandasana pose. So it's an eagle's legs pose. Continue to breathe here. Continue to sink those hips down. Right hip sinks down. Left hip lifts up. All right, walk those blocks forward. Walk those blocks forward. Walk those blocks forward. Untangle the legs. Take the right leg. Bring it behind the left leg. Release the right knee to the ground. Bend the left knee. Take your block. Place it directly behind your right hip. And then sit down on that block. Okay? So you sit down on the block, and you can spin both legs to center. So in this case, the left leg is over the right leg. Now take both of your hands over towards the right side of the body, rather. Lift both sides of the chest. Let the left buttocks release down towards the mat. Lift up the right side of the chest and twist here. All right, from here, as you feel ready, you're going to lean on forward. You're going to take both of your hands onto these blocks. You're going to lift that leg up. Lift the leg up, float the leg back, walk the hands back, and find your way into a forward fold here. Release the head on down and breathe. Draw the left hip back, draw the right hip forward. Continue to lengthen through the sternum. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend that left knee. You're going to step your right foot forward. Inhale, floating halfway up. Exhale, folding as you hinge at the hips. All right. Take the feet wide apart. Take the feet wide apart. So about hips width distance apart. Stack the blocks up here and release the head down onto those blocks. So if you don't have blocks to release the head onto, what you can do is you can you could bring your legs wide apart. And you could take Prasarita Padottanasana by releasing your head all the way down towards the mat. So that's the variation pose to take. You could take this pose, or if you want, take the legs wide apart and take another variation of the pose. Maybe release the head down to the blocks. Maybe release the head all the way down towards the floor. Eventually, you'll begin to lift that chest up, and you'll begin to bring those knees all the way down to the mat. So we're going to start here, Ardha Hanumanasana. You're just going to take yourself over your right leg and just release your head down towards that right leg. This is called Ardha Hanumanasana, or half split pose. Hanuman is a monkey god. And from Ardha Hanumanasana, you're going to turn your foot in, you're going to turn your foot in, you're going to turn your foot in. So take that leg out. Lift the chest, lift the heart, lift the sternum here, and just lower down onto your forearms as you release the head down. And draw that left hip over the right side. All right, inhale, lifting up. Inhale, lifting up. Take the right knee, drawing it in. Take the left leg, drawing it out. Let's start here. So let's just bring our hands down onto the blocks and release the head on down. You could also bring your hands down onto the floor. Hug the right outer hip in as you breathe. Lift the chest, lift the heart, lift the sternum. Spin your legs over to the left and release your head on down. And breathe here. So this is the Ardha Hanumanasana pose. And just breathe here and breathe here and breathe here. Good work today, guys. Really nice sequence. We're about to take this into our relaxation poses after this. So you're going to lift on up, you're going to lift on up, you're going to lift on up. Take that foot on back. Good. Lift the chest up. Very nice. All right. From here, we're going to find our way onto our backs. And you're going to hug the knees into the chest. Let's start there. Hug those knees into the chest. Actually, before we fully go into relaxation, I know this is a wellness class, but I still believe core work is so important. So we're going to lift the head up. We're just going to do very basic core work by tapping the right foot down to the mat, lifting the right knee up. Tapping the left foot down to the mat, inhale, lifting the left leg up. Tapping the right foot down, inhale, lifting up. Tapping left foot down, inhale, lifting up. And just continue to alternate here. All right. Extend both legs on forward. Extend both legs on forward. Flex the feet. Flex the feet and lift the chest. Lift up. Turn the thighs in. Turn the feet out. Lift the legs up. A little bit more core work here. Nice. Draw those knees into the chest. Take your left leg, bring it over your right thigh. Allow the left thigh to move away from you here. You could keep your legs like this, or you could take a thread the needle. So allowing your right outer leg to lengthen away. Keep lengthening the left buttocks towards the right heel. And then drawing that right knee in, taking the left leg, drawing the left knee into the chest, and then grabbing hold of that left foot as you draw the right knee away from you. Flex the left foot here, breathe in. Release that foot on down. Release the other foot on down. Good. Hug the knees into the chest here. Hug the knees into the chest. You're going to begin to release the arms out to the sides as you float both legs over to the left side. Both legs float over the left. If you want, you could place a block in between your legs, or you could keep your legs just apart, however is comfortable for you. Just breathe in here. Come back to center. Take the knees, bring them over to the other side, and release. All right, back to center again. Hug those knees into the chest. Hug those knees into the chest. Take the hands behind the back of the head. Just begin to extend the right leg forward again and tap it on down. Draw the right knee in. Left leg forward, tap it on down. Draw the left knee in. Right leg forward, tap it on down. Draw the right leg in. Left leg forward, tap it on down. Draw the left leg in. One more time each side. Nice. Hug those knees into the chest, rock forwards and backwards until eventually you roll all the way up. You're going to take your blanket and place it right behind your hips, and then you're going to begin to lengthen your arms all the way up towards the ceiling here. So let's start by taking our right foot over our left. Grab hold of your left foot and take your right hand behind your back, or grab hold of your left thigh. Take your right hand behind the back. A nice little twisting pose here. All right, and release. So you'll take that right leg forward. You'll bring the left knee into the chest, glide it on over. Take your right hand around the left leg and just spin the chest to open. Flex through your right foot, open the chest, and breathe. This is called Marichyasana 3 or Marichyasana C. Breathing in here. Come back to center. Bring the feet together. Bring the knees apart. And as you continue to breathe in here, release the head on down. You're lengthening the head, lengthen the chest, lengthen the shoulders all the way forward. Draw the outer shoulder blades back. Lengthen the center chest on forward. Feel the side ribs lengthening in the armpits. Breathing here. And inhale, lifting up. Okay. So from here, we're going to come back to a cross-legged position. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you actually to sit on a block one more time. You may not need a block, but some of us, the block may be helpful. So place a block behind you. You can move your blanket just slightly away. And place a block right behind you on the lowest setting. Have a seat on that block. All right? Draw the left knee to a bent position. So the left knee is underneath the right. Then you're going to take the right leg and you're going to bring it over the left. Very similar to before, except this time the thighs, they fold on top of one another. So you have the left knee under, you have the right thigh on top. So the thighs fold on top of one another. Bring the hands right behind the back and just peel the chest up and breathe here. You could close the eyes here if you'd like. So draw both outer hips down. Lengthen through both side ribs. Feel the tops of the trapezius muscles lengthening to the fingers here. All right, lift on up. Take your right leg, bring it out. Take your left leg, bring it out. You're going to bring your right foot underneath this time. You're going to bring your left leg on top this time. So you come into the opposite side of the pose, just like this. And lift both sides of the chest here as you breathe. So lean the weight back. Lean the weight back so that both sit bones are releasing down to the mat. Close the eyes here. And just breathe. All right. And then from here, uncross the legs. Good. So now you're going to release the block onto the side. Let's extend those legs forward again as we sit onto our seat one more time. And as you exhale, just fold forward here. This is called Paschimottanasana, or the west facing the east pose. Release the head down, close the eyes, breathe here. Hollow the belly in, lengthen through the side ribs. Feel the tops of the shoulders lengthening towards the backs of the hamstrings. So those trapezius muscles at the tops of the shoulders, they're drawing back towards the low spine. You're lengthening from the front of the chest, not the back of the chest. Nice. And as you exhale, release on down. Take the legs forward. Bring the legs onto the mat. Take the head, release it down, maybe on a pillow, maybe on a blanket. Release the arms to the sides, release the legs to the sides. And breathe here. Now bring your knees into a bent position. Roll the weight of the body over onto your side. Press your top palm down. Inhale, lift the chest up. And find your way into a seated position again. So as you find your way into a seated position, cross the legs. Take the hands to the center chest. As you exhale, release the chin towards the chest. Lift the head, open the eyes. Namaste. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this integrative wellness practice. We do this every day at 3 p.m. on our Facebook Live channel at Yoga with Jason G, the letter G. I hope that you guys have a phenomenal day today. If you want to stick around for a few more moments, I give my little closing as I do every class. So I hope that you guys can enjoy. So once again, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for sharing space and time in our practice. To Mr. Wilson Lopez, thank you so much. I hope that you have a great day. Wishing you well and many acts of kindness as well. So have a beautiful day, and I hope that you all are well. So as I close this class, as I usually do, these are a couple ways that you guys can help out. If you're watching on YouTube, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Also, thumbs up, like button. Feel free to share any comments of the class. I'm happy to keep modifying these classes. I film everything on Facebook, but I upload it later on the YouTube. So you guys can check me in on there. And last but not least, I have a little Venmo QR. So if you guys feel like snapping the Venmo QR code, if you feel like sending any contributions, always grateful for those. Helps out with producing the classes, filming, production, lighting, sound, wardrobe, all that stuff. So guys, have a great day today. Be well, be happy, my friends. Namaste. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.